because there's so many different things. Like going to something as like going to another flashback, Butcher's flashback, like something that like a flashback is supposed to be nonchalant, right? It's supposed to just be like, hey, here's the information. It's gonna entertain you a little bit, and then you're gonna be able to move forward. We saw with Black Noir, like, you know, what we're going to do via cartoon characters, putting on a play, totally destroyed what we thought a flashback could be in superhero films or just in film in general. Now, seeing Butcher's flashback, I thought the way they interlaced Huey's face and clips with Huey.
That was great.
While he looks at his brother, like same frame for frame, and just boom, in and out. Instead of like, here's a flashback, and now you see a scene of where he did it to Huey. And I felt like the way they edited this flashback scene was so pointed, so strict. They cut out all the fat that like other flashback scenes in previous movies, TV shows, whatever the case may be, were there when they're trying to allude to the same thing. Like, oh, he reminds him of this character. And then you see another flashback within the flashback. It was like, no, it was like glimpses of like, oh, present day stuff. Very well done. I love seeing Butcher's backstory, the way they portrayed it. I love seeing like the way he saw his scenes, so like him doing the same thing, beating stuff up just like his father did, drinking just like his father did, with stuff in the past and the future. It was so well done. The boys' editing department needs a raise. The boys' scripting department needs a raise. The boys' creative team needs a raise, people.
It was so well done, and in the sense of also, it took away what a lot of flashbacks do, where half of it's like in slow motion for some reason.
Yeah, because
right?
they're
like,
fluffing up time. They're like, hey, we need to do this.
They kept it paced. We had that awesome scene with Butcher's dad last season, but it wasn't a scene that's as memorable as all the crazy other things that happened.
But they brought it back to your focal point because they just
bring
showed
it back.
a glimpse. Not even a full scene. Not even him saying a word. Just the image of him. He's like, oh, shit, I remember that.
Yeah, and then it connects so well with the flashback, as you were saying, right, with the stuff with Huey and everything going on in the present day, that now that scene with his father, who was older, makes so much more sense now of why he hates him, the stuff he says, all that stuff. So it was so well done, and all the way up to the tragic end as Butcher is in that mindscape going, no, I don't want to, like, you know, freaking out, not wanting to relive this again.
I didn't think the gun scene would be like him killing himself. I thought he would like try to kill his dad, and his dad.
Oh, no, I knew it was going to be that. I knew it was going to be that.
It's the worst of the situation. So with the boys, I should just know this. But you made a comment, and I want to talk about that to you guys. Butcher breaking the cycle, and I think like you got, or at least many of you, were in the same boat as me when we're seeing this, and especially when he wakes up, he screams, "I'm sorry." I'm thinking Butcher is going to try to break the cycle. All right, he's like, all right, I see what I have to do here. I have to try to be a better big brother to Huey because I'm taking Huey down this path with me, as opposed to like just abandoning him and trying to do his own stuff like he did with his younger brother. When Starlight calls him, says, hey, I was just in Vought because I had to get some special medicine for Kimiko because Kimiko got her powers back. Yay, love it. And they did a whole dancing romantic. This is one of the few times I'm not really caring about the romance. But when he goes and says, hey, your brain is going to be Swiss cheese. They're going to get lesions on this. Don't do it anymore. Tell Huey I can't talk to him. I'm trying to get in contact with him. Hangs up. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to let them know. And then he just drops it off. He was about to, and you can see like the glimpse of change was right there, right at the precipice of the surface. And he's like, nah, don't worry. We got to get some more 10 feet. We got to kill this and end it. And I was like, oh, Butcher, you were so close to being redeemed. You were so close to being a better person, and you couldn't because you're focused on the mission, just like Soulja Boy.
Yeah, it's really tough to break cycles, regardless of what they are, right? It's ingrained in you in a lot of ways, and for Butcher, it's even more so because his whole life was like that, and he almost didn't realize he was in that cycle, right? He hated him so much that he almost became him, and with Huey, it's going to be really rough to break this cycle, which may go down another line in the comics, which I don't want to spoil, but this stuff with Butcher now and seeing that conflict, that's where I was surprised, and I thought he was going to tell him and say, "Oh,
you were."
I did, because he started to tell him. And I was like, "Oh, he's going to tell him, great." But I thought Huey was going to be the one that's like, "I don't care, I'm still taking it," because he's almost like a junkie. So I thought it was going to be more so Butcher tells him, "We got to stop."
Like a shift of the craziness stuff from Butcher. We can't really get mad on that. We have to look at Huey.
Where almost Butcher's already brought him down the path too far. And Huey's like, nice. Secretly, juicing up on the side. So, but it's interesting to see that he didn't break the cycle, Rob. And it's interesting to see that he now knows all this trauma stuff. He just relived it, right? Mindstorm put him through hell. and yet he still can't break it because the mission is so forthright.
As much as we're like saying he's not going to break it, I feel very confident that when he takes 10 feet, he's not going to let Yui take it again. I feel very confident he's just going to do it himself and then go rogue.
The last second slap away.
Like that's a butcher. Not even the last second slap away, which would be cool. I'm talking about like the butcher. He knows the mission, and then he just does it earlier. He does the rock thing. He wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go on a mission where they're supposed to go.
You're really on this rock thing right
we've
now.
talked about the rock before, ladies and gentlemen. Off air. Don't even worry about it. I'm obsessed with him right now. Like I gotta wake up at 5 o'clock to do his thing, and then I'll be jacked like him. That's not gonna happen, right? But like if he wakes up earlier than everybody else, takes the 10 feet, takes it all with him, and leaves Huey stranded and like doesn't have anything. I think that's more of the butcher style, trying to help while still being kind of the scumbag.
And also hindering himself, right? And hurting himself.
Exactly, hurting himself. That's like the self-sabotage mentality of Butcher to the T.